Okay, take two. This is going to be the world's shortest nonfiction November wrap up. It's quite simple. I read basically three nonfiction books in November. I read a lot for school. I read a lot of like articles and things for school. So I did read a lot of nonfiction in November, but none of that's interesting to talk about right now. So what I'm going to, in fact, I literally have class at 6 p.m., 6 to 8 today. And when I get finished with this, I don't usually film at night, but when I get finished with this, I'm about to hop on to a little Zoom class. You guys are like, okay, and that has nothing to do with us. Okay, let's talk about something I didn't finish first, and this is the only physical book that I have for Nonfiction November. This is a book of essays by Mickey, I'm sorry. Mickey Kendall. I've read probably like 1/3 of this book so far. I'm just like reading it. I'm just picking it up in between things. Like I'm not like, I should have probably like sat down like, okay, made a plan. I'm gonna read this thing all throughout November. I'm in school too, and I'm working, and you know, even though I'm not working like in the school building most of the time, I'm still working, so you know, I get in what I can. And the things that I do make time for are like usually like fun reads. Okay, well here's a fun read for Nonfiction November. Dessert Person. I've made 3 recipes from Dessert Person, so I have read that. You can look on my Instagram if you want to see those. And I made 1 ill-fated video, ill-fated cooking video. I made a second cooking video, but I have to like edit it. And I'm like, I had so many school projects, again, so many excuses. I had so many school projects for graduate school that I was like, I don't want to do a whole thing. Like, this is just easy to like quickly upload. Like, I don't edit it, I just sit down and talk. But like the other one, like when you put together all the little clips of cooking or whatever and like try to decide what to cut out, that's a whole thing. So maybe that you'll get that by the end of the week. I'm not making literally any promises. Just like my nonfiction TBR was not a promise, clearly. It was a aspiration. There's a difference between a goal, an aspiration, and a promise. Those are 3 different things, okay? But the thing that I made, let me show you the pictures at least. Okay, I have it displayed because it's like a little bit holiday-y. Okay, the 3 things that I made out of here, let me see if I still have them bookmarked. I have 1 bookmark. I made these. And this I have a video on, but I didn't finish it. I ruined these the first time. So my oven needed to be calibrated. I had to call the people from my like apartment and they had to come fix it. I could run and show you the cookies. I have cookies that I made as well. Let me show you the cookies. I still have some of the cookies left. That's what I most recently made. I have the video up about the brownies. So you know I made her forever brownies. And these are the cookies. They're so good. Okay. Wait, let me go back to the blondies for a second. No, I'm not. That's fine. The blondies had a lot of ingredients. I'm gonna maybe post a video about that. So I'm not gonna go deep into that. I just dropped another bookmark out of there. Hopefully that doesn't fall. Anyway, so I did that. It's nonfiction. It's because it's a cookbook. It's a real recipe. Anyway, the other 2 things I read was, I made 2 videos on Mariah Carey already, but I finished the Meaning of Mariah Carey this month. It was good. It was good. From start to finish, it was good. The singing parts were excellent. I just felt like she became more relatable because she's so like diva, fabulous, voice, hair blowing, you know, she's all that. So like when you read her memoir, she becomes way more down to earth. You get way more of her backstory. You get her like insight into different situations and her personal mental health struggles and all this kind of stuff. It's really good. I really liked it. And the second thing that the 3rd or 4th thing, I don't know. The 3rd or 4th thing that I finished this month was The Truths We Hold by Kamala Harris. I should know, right? By our vice president. I'm just going to call her VP. By our VP, and it's a really good book. Like, it's a good book. It's very like political. It's very like politically correct. It's like, it definitely feels like a move, a political move. Like, let me explain. It's like it's like 1/3 her own personal backstory and career, and then like 2/3 like, this is my perspective on the state of our nation, you know, like, and like laying out her kind of views and policies that she thinks should be put in place for the state of our nation. It's not like a 50-point plan or whatever, but like, she even says that this isn't a 50-point plan. One thing that was interesting that I keep telling people that was in Kamala's book was she gives like a teeny tiny nugget of insight into her relationship with Doug. And it's very like, like I say, teeny tiny nugget. It's very guarded. You don't get a lot of deep into it. Like, she does like say a lot of stuff, but it's just kind of like, Like, of course, the thing that I found was illuminating was she said that at the early stage of the relationship, they decided like, let's commit to each other for the next 6 months and see what happens. Like, I was telling my family this on Thanksgiving. They're like, what? And I'm like, can you imagine like being with someone and they're like, listen, things are going well. Let's commit to each other for at least the next 6 months and really give it a try. Like, do people like, I'm sorry, is that normal? Is that normal for people to be like, let's commit to each other for X amount of time and then we'll sit down, we'll have a sit down and reassess. You know, like, so lawyerly. I felt like that was so lawyerly, honestly. That's it. Like, that's all I read. And then, of course, you know, she doesn't get into anything that people have criticized her for from her career because, like, of course, she's not going to get into it. Plus, I think the book is older than I think it is. I think it's about 2018, 2019, she wrote it. And so, like, a lot of the things that have happened this year and a lot of the things that people had qualms with her about, like some of the decisions she made as Attorney General, of course she doesn't touch on them. I'm like, I need a sequel, Kamala. I need a sequel. What else did I like about the book? Oh, I know what I didn't like about the book. I think she's a really intelligent, competent person. And I agree with her on a lot of her views. And I take her very seriously, but I gotta give like a silly nitpick of her is her voice. Oh my Lanta. Her voice is so nasally and like almost like she's so monotone in certain points. It's almost like nasally and robotic. I'm like, ooh. Her own narration was like, it, but it was a pretty good listen. I listened to it on audiobook. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that. Kamala's book I listened to on audiobook, and Mariah Carey's book I listened to on audiobook. And I highly recommend Mariah Carey's book on audiobook because she sings throughout. But I tepidly recommend Kamala's book on audiobook because of her voice. And it's kind of dry. Like, that's a polite way of saying like, no, but you know what she does do? And this is what I should have said off top about her book. She takes big, like, country shaking events like the real estate bubble, and she distills it down to these moments where she interacts with individuals who were personally affected by it. So she takes something big like immigration, and she gives like really key anecdotes from people that she interacted with and who reached out to her as a senator or as an attorney general during these times. So I think that was good. That's what I should have started with. After I said all the criticisms and everything. But I do recommend the book. I don't recommend necessarily the audiobook, honestly. Honest to God. It does get a little hard to concentrate and listen to and acknowledge fully, but it's good. It's a good book. And that's it. That was Nonfiction November for me. It wasn't a total flop. I did some things. All right, let me know what you did down below, what you read down below, and what are you baking in November?